Officer down, start medical quick.
I want everybody to know the truth about what happened.
Speaking publicly for the first time, Sergeant Joseph Wells says he does not remember anything from the day he was nearly killed by an out-of-control driver. He has not seen the dash cam or body cam video from that day.
Do you want anyone to see it?
I do want everyone to see it.
Show me your hands! Hands! Get out of the car!
As I'm driving, there was a truck on the shoulder doing about 100 and, I don't know, so miles an hour. And he stops there and he just starts running into cars and just starts pushing them out of the way. I mean, it's like a video game, and this keeps going for stoplight after stoplight. I've never seen anything like that in my life.
Joel Crawford had no idea what was happening.
I'm sitting there, and Joe and two other cops passed me, because I remember him because, like, he's like a monster on this little bitty motorcycle, and he drives by me in the middle of the intersection with the lights on and stuff.
Joel will soon be face-to-face with that muscular officer on that little bitty bike, the unlikely beginning of a life-saving moment, an unshakable bond between a former combat medic and 16-year police veteran and Marine.
As I topped the hill, it was just like chaos. Like everything had completely changed from what it was. Joe's bike was in 1,000 pieces. There was an officer pulling the guy out of the car. He didn't care at all. He looked sober, he looked coherent, he just didn't care. And there were two officers in the trees doing something. There's no body that was on the bike anymore.
Instinct and training kicked in.
We're going through the trees.
Yeah!
They're yelling his name. He was literally 100 feet from his bike, knocked through a bunch of trees in a creek. The officers and we tear his clothes off. I thought he was dead, honestly. He wasn't breathing. He was it's like kind of a snoring sound.
That loud, audible noise can be heard in this video. It is overwhelming, and we are muting it. The sound of a man dying. Sergeant Wells is literally fighting, gasping for life.
I helped the other officer open his airway up more, and I held it open, and then we're sitting there. I honestly thought he was going to die. Like, his eyes were just, there was like nothing there.
A couple of days after being admitted into the hospital, they intubated him because Joe was having such a hard time breathing. Joe's stats just kept dropping and dropping and dropping. They were talking about comfort care for Joe because they felt like they had done everything they could do.
Sheridan is Joe's wife and is also an Edmond police officer. Joe's attorney advised her not to speak on camera.
A nurse happened to be treating another patient in the room next to Joe in the ICU and overheard a conversation what Joe's status was, and he made the recommendation to Sheridan that she should ask about ECMO.
ECMO, the artificial life support that would be Joe's last hope after 9 days on maximum life support. Sheridan did what any wife would do.
She was fighting for Joe's life.
Ended up throwing a big enough fit and found a doctor that agreed with her, and they agreed to try ECMO.
For the next 6 days, Joe's life was sustained by machines.
Within days, you just start to see Joe come back to life again. And, you know, that brush with death again is averted because there's people fighting for Joe.
None of the doctors I see understand why I'm still here. They say medically and all that, there's no medical reason I survived or I'm still here. And I've been told, you know, my family was told several times I wasn't going to survive. And then I was told, you know, he'll never walk again. He might lose his legs, he's not going to have his legs. And then, right now I've been told, you know, my nerves will never come back. But they seem to have little twitches here and there like they might want to come back.
Joe spent months in the hospital and rehab and has undergone countless surgeries. He suffered a traumatic brain injury and has no recollection of the accident, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. 5 of his ribs were fractured, puncturing and collapsing his left lung. His teeth were shattered, his left knee and pelvis shattered, his bladder ripped apart. He's got a metal rod in his leg and severe nerve damage. Pieced back together, but here.
It can be hard. I mean, I sit here and wonder why I'm still here.
And why the man who hit him isn't behind bars.
He's out on bond, so he's at home doing whatever he wants to do. But I stay at home. I can't do 95% of the stuff I did before that I enjoy doing.
25-year-old Garrett Trammell was charged with 5 counts of assault and battery, endangering others while eluding police, leaving the scene of an injury collision, and maiming. In January, a judge denied a motion to reduce his bond and kept it at $950,000. Court transcripts state Trammell has no record of mental illness, and a blood test after the accident revealed the only thing in his system was THC. Aaron Hallmark was in the courtroom.
It was heart-wrenching to have to see Joe sit there across the room from that guy. The person who tried to attack Joe and kill him is walking free on the streets to this day.
In February, Trammell posted bond and walked out of the Oklahoma County Detention Center. His attorney declined to comment.
I have no ill feelings against him. Whatever happened, and I was doing my job.
Joe has made peace with what happened on the day he almost died. But what he's not come to terms with is his future.
Nobody really knows how much more I'll progress, because I really didn't think I'd get this far.
His employment, if he'll be forced to medically retire.
I don't know what my status with the police department really is.
His battered dignity.
You do go to work to do your job, protecting the city or doing whatever, serving the city, and then you get hurt doing that job, and then what?
As the criminal case against Trammell makes its way through the court system, Joe has filed a civil suit, and therein lies another unknown.
The city and the insurance company had a stake in what I might get civilly through that.
An Oklahoma law passed 10 years ago gives the city of Edmond and workers' comp insurance the right to take a portion of any winnings from that lawsuit. The law was touted as workers' comp reform. If you ask Joe, that reform does not benefit the men and women in uniform, those who put their lives on the line, serving and protecting a state that in this case may not be protecting them.